And we are back with the Blame Girl podcast with
Mr. Terry Wayne.
And we got Lando in the house. What's up, Lando?
How's it going, guys? Thank you for having me on.
We wanted to get you on earlier, but you had duties to take care of during the football season.
That's right. I had to put in my time.
So how was your weekend, Lando?
It was good. Some family parties, some stand-up. Pretty quiet overall. How about you guys?
Did you say parties?
Yeah, I had a...
Tell us about that. Don't just gloss over it.
All right, fair enough.
Tell us about the party.
Brother-in-law had a birthday party as well as my nephew. Most of the party was me and my brother-in-law putting together a swing set for my nephew. That was really the party. It was just an excuse to bring in manual labor. That's really what they wanted.
Yeah. Well, so no shows this weekend, huh?
No, quiet weekend.
Terry, how was your weekend?
Busy, pretty busy weekend for me this weekend. Had a bit of a... What's that?
I said, what'd you have going on?
As we've talked about before, I'm going to be moving to Nashville. So, my oldest friends down in Broward, we had like a little going away party on Saturday night. And we did steakhouse, nice dinner, and then went to the Seminole Casino, the one in Coconut Creek.
Mm-hmm.
Which had sentimental reasons for me because that's where I learned to play poker back when I was like 20, and now it's this big huge, it used to be just one little building, but now it's like a big huge complex with all this stuff, and and ended up winning some money, so good night there. And then
you don't want to tell us how much you won?
What's that?
Yeah, what is the
you
amount?
don't want to tell us how much you won?
About between me and Miranda, we about 300. So
nice.
Yeah. Well, she has good instincts for slot machines. It's so funny because I hate slot machines, but she's like, I got a good instinct about that when we passed over there. And I said, okay, here's $20. She comes back 5 minutes later with 170. And I was like, well, it worked. So yeah. And then what's that?
Where's our going away party?
We're gonna do that. That's gonna be a weekend coming up shortly. But then on Sunday, yesterday, was her grandmother's 94th birthday. And she requested that I cook.
What'd you make?
I made Mediterranean stew because she wanted seafood. So had some great cod fillets that Publix had available. And then some mussels, clams, shrimp, lobster tails, the whole bit, and it turned out to be a big hit. Everybody liked it. Most importantly, she liked it because, it's 94. You never know. It might be the last one. So I want to make sure it was a good one. Yeah. So, but yeah, we got her that and a couple of things, and no, it was just a good weekend.
I'm glad you had a good weekend.
Yeah.
How was my weekend, you asked?
I didn't, because nobody cares.
My weekend was terrible. This part wasn't terrible. I had a show in Miami at Timeout Market. It's Brittany Braves room. I'm at Brittany's Braves room tonight, and Elizabeth Rodriguez, Flash Fire Pizza. It's a new mic in Boca. So, but I had a show down there, and that was a fun room. But I felt like pretty bad that night, and I was sick all weekend. So I just stayed in the house.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
well, that sucks.
Glad to be out again, and trying out. I've been working on new jokes, so I want to be out. And anyway, all right, y'all ready?
Well, but you feel better now, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't even be out here if I didn't feel better. Probably still do the podcast, just the runny nose. But anyway, are y'all ready to do some blaming?
Oh yes, been ready all day.
Oh, all day?
All day long.
That's why you jump. Never. Okay, so I don't know if you're fans of You, but the lead actor Pete Bagley, he compared sex scenes to infidelity. Who's to blame, y'all?
Puritanical society that he was raised in. Obviously, it's make believe. It's fake. That's like saying if a gunfight in a movie is murder. You know,
Yeah,
it's fake.
he is a serial killer in this show. Like, what?
Yeah.
You can't separate fact from fiction.
I feel uncomfortable because I've been compared to that guy a couple of times on the count of
geez.
that I'm also a serial killer. Here's who I blame. I blame him for being a cuck. I think I don't understand. It's a weird take. It's your job is to be an actor. Just act. Like,
yeah, act like you fucking.
Yeah.
We're back into it.
I've heard this before though too. There's certain actors. I know one in particular. I can't think of his name right off the top of my head, but he's more of a character actor, and but he's very Christian, and he refuses to even kiss another woman, even in a scene for a show or a movie. And he's been in some big name movies. You know.
Let me ask you: are the sex scenes and whatnot necessary for the entertainment?
It depends on the movie.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, sometimes definitely. Like, because you want to see that intimacy, you want that represented. Because we all, for the most part, we all know what it's like to be in those intimate moments. Yeah. So it's just representation. It's kind of the same thing we talked about with the when it came to the LGBTQ community and the Birdcage movie. Like, some people love that movie, and some people think it's, you know, a farce, but it's still representation, you know.
I mean, if your job as a screenwriter is to give depth to these characters, sexuality is definitely part of like those layers of what makes you human, right? So you definitely need to put it. There's some movies that are way too gratuitous with it, and that's kind of has to be part of the selling point also. Like, they market it to be extremely sexual because the plot is lacking. But like shows like Game of Thrones, for example, I think outside of the first season, there weren't really a lot of gratuitous sexual moments. I think it made sense in those moments.
Yeah,
but there was a point to those.
Blood?
Yeah, but there was a point. Well, True Blood is nothing.
That was totally gratuitous.
Yeah, Miranda loves True Blood. So.
Let me add this little bit in there. What, like, sometimes actors be cheating. They be cheating with whoever they're making out with because it's too passionate.
Yeah. Well, famously, that's what happened to. Famously, that's what happened to Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston. Was he went and did a movie with Angelina Jolie, where they played husband and wife, and the next thing you know, he left her. And,
that's good acting.
But that can happen anywhere. That you know how many times that's happened. Like... You know how many times that's happened in somebody's office where there's chemistry, and the next thing you know, they're having an affair.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, you don't have to be an actor to fall into that trap.
So,
but
we can all agree
Lando mentioned Game of Thrones because that's a show where I definitely think it's necessary.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those sex scenes they're showing either brutality or they're just showing like the more instinctual kind of animalistic way that these people live as opposed to more of a civilized kind of society.
Right.
You know? I think it's just as important as the violence. Because it's just a different form of violence, you know. Especially
with the dragons one, that new dragons one. There's like, I think even more nudity.
Yeah, but it's also incestual. You know, it's incestual. It's fantasy. It's, you know, they're trying to create a world. And when you create a world different from the one that you know, you kind of have to set the tone. And I think a lot of that sets the tone. Plus, titties. Everybody loves titties.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's also serendipitous. They happen to hit on every single one of my kinks. You know, dragons, incest. I will say, I think it's funny that the guy is he's like ultra religious and he's an actor. Like, isn't that like his problem with it?
That he's ultra religious, but I like part of me thinks it's his own like insecurity and self-doubt that he can't do it. Like he feels like he will cheat, so he's projecting that on Hollywood. Which, I mean, look, sex sells. We know that, and we know that Hollywood exploits that, but it's your job to pretend, and you've got to be able to pretend that as well, you know?
Yeah,
And
but it's a
so like
difference.
you, I think he out of line for not doing it.
I like that this isn't you about stalking. I like that his moral and ethical problem with that show is the sex and not the fact that he's like actively stalking women. Like he's committing
Yeah.
crimes, and that's fine. But it's
You're
like
killing people. What's worse? You know?
Yeah.
Stalking women, killing people, but he draws the line on pretending to have sex with these women that he's pretending to stalk and kill.
Somebody should get that guy on a remake of Horseback Mountain. I want to see him squirm.
Well, you know what man does not have to stalk women? Tiger Woods.
Powerful
Tiger Woods,
transition.
I am waiting on you, boo. But in the meantime, Tiger he had to apologize this week for a prank. Who's to blame?
Our sensitive simp society. I mean, what he did, in case you don't know, what he did was, I believe it was Justin Thomas. He outdrove him during a competition. He outdrove him and then walked up to him. And as he walked by him, he just handed him a tampon. And just to be like, yeah, here you go. You know, like anybody who's ever played golf knows that this is the kind of thing that happens on golf courses all the time. Like if your putt comes up short by 10 feet because you didn't hit it hard enough, hey, nice hit, Sally. Maybe you bring your wife to putt that for you next time or something. It's busting balls, you know. It's that typical guy bullshit, just try to emasculate somebody else. But I think guys should be emasculated sometimes, you know. Maybe we get too masculine. Maybe we need to remember we're just human beings, you know.
Tiger had to say, if I offended anybody in any way, shape, or form, I'm sorry. It was not intended to be that way. It was just we played pranks on one another all the time. And virally, I think this did not come across the way that way, but between us, it was different. That is Tiger.
It's his friend. He was busting his balls. I'm telling you, man, this overcorrection, like, look, our society did terrible. Our society did terrible things for so long that now we're overcorrecting, which is another golf term. Yeah. You know, and now it's like they're not going to stop. If we let that ball of, you know, correctness and trying to be perfect all the time keep rolling, they're just going to keep going until life's not fun anymore at all.
Yeah. No, you know? I agree. Like, yeah, it was a sexist joke. It wasn't that bad. Like, he was acting like he has his period, like women do. Okay, haha.
Big deal. I think that's just as bad on the opposite side when guys get embarrassed to buy tampons for like their girlfriend or wife or whatever. Like, ooh, I don't want to buy tampons. Everyone knows they're not for you.
You know what? You have a point. Give Tiger kudos for touching a tampon at all, right?
Like, who gives a grow up is what I want to say to those kind of guys. You know?
I think the biggest person to blame here, I think, is the tampon company. They missed a massive marketing opportunity. Can you imagine being the tampon that's getting handed by Tiger fucking Woods? And he's going to do it for free because he feels bad. He thought he was sexist. He'll do your commercials for free. I think somebody needs to do a little research in that marketing department.
I think that's a great point. I think Tampax should have jumped all over that and been like, Tiger Woods chooses Tampax, you know?
Great for men and women.
Capitalism.
Yeah,
when I was a kid, I was obsessed with tampons. When I was like 7, when I was like 6, 7.
Okay, Prince Charles. I'm just kidding. Okay, Prince Charles.
Well, whatever.
You know about Tampon Gate, right? Yes.
Yeah, I want to explore this a little more. Like, did you collect them? Like, some kids collect baseball cards. Like, what do you mean obsessed?
No, I didn't collect them. I just didn't know what they were for, and I would like pretend that it was like a stick of dynamite with a fuse on the end, like the string was the fuse.
In a way, it is.
And also, I didn't know anything about the female anatomy. I was like 6 or 7, something like that. So the little instruction booklet that comes in the box, like I would look at that and go, "What are they doing? Look at that." It goes inside? What?
Fascinating.
Yeah. Different time. I didn't have the internet, you know.
Yeah.
This was the 80s, man.
Yeah, some people use magazines to masturbate, use tampons. We all have our
That
kinks.
was the first time I'd ever seen a vagina was on a tampon instruction thing.
Whoa!
Yeah. I was like, and it wasn't even a picture, it was just crudely drawn.
Yeah.
So, but that was enough.
This will do.
Yeah.
Just so immature.
No, it just wasn't. It wasn't even sexual. It was just because I was 6 or 7 or something, but I wasn't a sexual being yet.
You didn't know what the drawing was, clearly?
No, it was just curiosity. It was just like, what is that? You know?
Like finding your mom's dildo, right?
I never found my mom's dildo, thank God. You know, that's a whole different PTSD moment. You know,
I was lucky enough to grow up poor, and my mom couldn't afford dildo, so that was not a concern.
Well, there you go.
I never found my mom's dildo, thank God as well. But I'm just saying, I'm just using an analogy. I'm really just trying to figure out how to transition, and y'all are giving me nothing. I missed my opportunity, so I'm gonna just do it.
All right.
Chris Brown had a bad week dealing with old behavior.
You could have said, speaking of dildos, Chris Brown.
Speaking of dildos, Chris Brown had a bad week dealing with.
There you go.
There's the. But y'all, why is this happening to poor Chris Brown?
Poor Chris Brown.
Because he beat the shit out of Rihanna. That's why. And karma's a bitch. That's why.
He did. I mean, I just got to throw this out there every time. He also beat the shit out of his mom.
Mm.
Well, she deserved it. Like, I don't know about Rihanna, but her mom was definitely being shitty. No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
He was a woman abuser, and that's hard to overcome.
Yeah.
But also, he has accusations of colorism. He does not fuck with brown women.
This guy's batting 1,000. What is wrong with this guy?
Okay.
Brown women love him.
It doesn't, like, I'll defend that. Like, it's an overcorrection. You're going to the wrong side. Now you're saying it's not good enough to not see color. Now you're saying, no, you have to specifically be attracted to one race or the other. And if you're not, it makes you somehow wrong.
Being attracted, Terry. That's the disconnect here. He goes to clubs for his job and he sees fans and have them come into his VIP. If you were specifically excluding Black women, that's like a fucking white supremacist move, like the lunch counters in the 1960s.
Well,
like,
like if you're saying no, you can't.
I'm not
come
saying
in here.
he has to be fucking these girls, you know. There's kids around. I'm not saying he needs to be these girls, but he.
Can we just have a moment to like reflect on how far we've come as a society that our two most prominent white supremacists are Kanye West and Chris Brown? We have come so far.
I want to hear that material.
We've come so far that now even Black people can be white supremacists.
Before Kanye West,
that's equality, no? Yeah,
that's equality. Yeah,
it's crazy. I think, I think he has new music coming out, and especially he has a Black woman debuting a song with him, and they're like, "What are you doing?" Because abuse and colorism, and so he goes on a tirade against cancel culture, right? He's upset that he's canceled. I don't know what to say.
He's been canceled before. He'll be fine.
But this week he was accused of colorism. In London, he was keeping people out of his VIP this week.
Here's who to blame. I think we are. How does this guy still have a career? Like, for a man being canceled, he seems to be making a lot of money.
Yeah,
just on the circuit. We keep going to his concerts. We keep sharing his stories. Like, he's figured out a weird hack to be in a terrible. He's like a wrestling foil.
Well, that's because there's a market for cancel. There's a market for There's a group of people that are like, yeah, say this, say that.
Donald Trump's still running for president. He's still running for president.
There you go.
Yeah.
He ain't never been canceled.
He should have been. Well, he's been. Sure, he has, but
no,
not
he
permanently. Not permanently.
He should have been, but
yeah,
you're uncancelable at some point. Like Dave Chappelle said, like he's uncancelable. But you know who we should cancel? The Passport Bros. Have y'all heard of these guys?
No, I haven't.
No.
So the Passport Bros are these guys that go to other countries, and it's like a form of like the Blue Book Gentlemen and all these little versions. But the Passport Bros are black men that are leaving the country because Black American women are just too much to deal with, and they got to find a traditional wife in, say, the Philippines or in Brazil.
Laosha.
They are being accused of sex tourism. Who's to blame?
Oh my God! Like sex tourism. Unless you're going to Amsterdam in the red light district, that's not a real thing. Okay, you know, you want to visit a place because, I mean, how long have women said that? You know, oh, Italian men are the sexiest, or no, French men are the most romantic, or Brazilian men are the most, aggressive. I mean, come on, get the fuck out of here. This is nonsense.
Really?
Well, you go on vacation, you try to get laid. That's the deal. You're not.
No, they're trying to go find traditional wives that will be submissive and subservient. Lando, what do you think? You're also married.
I'm also married. My wife is from Thailand, actually. I was also looking for.
Did you go there to find her? And then
I mean, that's the only reason to go to Thailand, as far as I'm concerned. It's
we know you went over there for a lady boy.
Yeah, yeah. My wife's name is Jordan. No, I didn't know about these guys.
He lied.
No, my wife is white. I'm a race trader. So I did not know about these guys until you sent them to me. And I think, again, this is another example of how far we've come in this country. Like going to another country to find a wife, that was an exclusively white man thing to do. And look at these two black guys are going out there and doing the same, they're exploiting the same loopholes to be terrible people. I think,
again, supporting white supremacy.
And supporting white supremacy. I think they're scared of women. I think that's what it is. I think.
I completely agree. It's like this. I saw a TikTok. I'm sorry to say that phrase, but I did. I saw a TikTok today of these guys talking about it, and they were like, you just gotta accept that maybe it's you. And I agree with that. Like, that's what I've done. Like, I'm single. I have a hard time with relationships, but maybe it's me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like, oh, I got to fuck these American guys. There's all these people getting married. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's you.
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem. Think about it. Correlate that with something other than marriage or sex or whatever, right? Imagine you live in Morocco or Nigeria, and you struggle to immigrate to, say, France or Southern Europe or what have you. Then you go there for better opportunities. Are you doing something wrong? No, you're going where there's opportunities to get what you want, whether that be money or a bride or whatever.
A subservient bride.
A
subservient young bride, because that's.
Hey, listen. There's some dudes here in this country that just can't get a woman. They just can't. Like it's something in them or something about them. But
Terry, maybe it's them. You're not gonna.
Yeah, maybe it is them.
Wait, you're not gonna go make these women fall in love with you. What happens is they go, and these women are either exploiting them for money, or they, that's just really it. They're exploiting them for money. Sometimes it works out.
So what?
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah,
if somebody's living in the Philippines, in poverty, and they want to live a better life, and then there's a man over here that's lonely or can't get his own wife, to me it seems mutually beneficial. Like, You get a
Not-
better
it's
life,
not
you get a
sex
better
toys.
life, everybody wins. I don't see the problem. As long as
think-
consensual and as long as they're consenting adults, I don't see the problem.
I think
Yeah, I agree.
so. I gotta jump in here because some of the posters, they are like saying that they have multiple bitches in multiple countries, and like they're really just like
Don't hate the player, hate the game. You know, it's
That's
no, it's
crazy.
not like that. Like, and then they're cheap. Like the girls, they have their own men, and these guys are okay with it. It's just
Okay,
I'm
so
not hating the player or the game. I'm not.
it
but
does seem predatory,
they-
but it's like coming from both sides. So it's like they're preying on the guys, and the guys are preying on them. Is that what you're getting at?
well, what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying
that's-
is like you don't even have to go abroad. Right here in this country, if you've got money, you can get women. You know what I mean? They're not, and a lot of these women, they're not. If Anna Nicole Smith marries an 85-year-old, octogenarian because he's a billionaire, like that shit happens here all the time. Oh, you think Melania Trump? You think Melania is with Donald because he's so awesome and beautiful that she moved from her country to
the
come here?
faces she
No,
makes when she's with him. No,
she's like, he's got a mansion and a plane, and I'm going with this man for security.
and these foreign women, because I've been watching these these videos, and this one lady, she was with a white guy, she was Spanish, and he was like, "So are you just with me because of my money?" And she's like, "Yeah." Like he's like, "So if I didn't have this money, you would." She's like, "You're supposed to buy me purses and clothes. Like, why are you not?" And I keep saying this: if you want a traditional marriage, let your parents pick your bride based on assets.
Well, I mean, not even that. I mean, he took Melania out of what, Romania or something like that. She was probably getting chased by wolves as a kid, and all of a sudden,
it is traditional for women to go after you for your money. So what are you doing?
But here's the thing: you can make you as the man. As long as it's consensual.
You can do that in America. They don't want to.
I'm just saying, you're making the choice.
They
I divorced my first wife, even though I knew by divorcing her I was giving up $20 million.
Your passport, bro, because I forgot your wife was from Germany.
But I met her here. She lived here.
Well, I mean, that's the opposite. That's a very strong choice. It's not like he's going to Thailand. Like a German woman, that's handsful right there.
It is a handful. They're very stern people. But that's all right, because so am I. So no, it was fine. I'm just saying you get to make the choice. And I hate when people make excuses as if oppression just leads to everything. Everything's about oppression. No, we're adults, consenting adults. If you're making a choice, they made a choice. Melania made a choice. When I divorced my first wife, I made a choice. When I walked away from the money, I made that choice. But that's on me.
What's funny is I was thinking that I was like, he was stupid for walking away from that money. That's what I was thinking.
But what is your life worth? What is your life worth? Honestly, what is your life and your happiness? What is it really worth?
Your life. That's what I don't understand. You'd have had both.
What do you mean?
You would have had your life and the money.
No, I wouldn't have had my life because I wasn't in love with her anymore. And it was driving me crazy.
No, I wasn't saying stay with her because of the money. Just get your cut in the divorce. You didn't do that. So
no, I mean,
that was stupid.
It would have made everything really ugly. And I got some money and that was enough and it was fine.
I respect that, Terry. My life is worth exactly $20 million. So
what is it? No, that is not what your existence is worth.
No, I done the math. I did it, the math.
You only get one existence, and it's the most valuable thing you have. So don't sell it.
No, I agree. I fundamentally agree with you.
All right, I think that's a perfect time to transition and introduce our guest, Lando Gonzalez. He's a local comedian, the hostess with the mostest.
Hostess with the mostest.
Welcome, Lando.
Hi. I like that you're doing this at the end of the show. This is.
What'd you say?
I like that you're doing this at the end of the show. It's a very avant-garde approach to podcast.
Is that sarcasm or?
Yeah, it's 100% sarcasm.
You think it should be at the beginning?
I think it's fine. I like this format, generally speaking.
You got to tell me, like,
It's gone well so far.
if
Yeah.
you're trying to give me feedback, be serious. You're a
No,
comedian.
I was ripping.
Okay.
I mean about 2% of the things that I say. That's just
Okay.
something. Yeah.
All right. So how long have you been doing comedy?
I want to say a little over 4 years now, 4.5 years.
How'd you get started?
I was sad. I think that's how a lot of comics start. I was depressed with my job. I felt like I could have pursued something creatively, and I never did. So I started taking improv classes first, and then I went on Mike, the cricket club. I don't know if you guys ever been there. For a lot of
Where?
the cricket club, and for a lot of those, it's defunct now. They closed it down. And it was
No.
like
Harry, are you familiar with the cricket?
No.
There was like an Elks Lodge place, where like older white men go to smoke cigars. It was like one of those things, but they had a comedy club attached to it. Anyway, I went there. I did a couple of stories. It went relatively well, and I just caught the bug, and then I just started doing it. Then pandemic hit, I stopped for a while, and then as soon as I could get back out again, I just started doing it like a psycho. And here I am.
And how much exactly did you pay for your wife in Thailand?
Less
No,
than
we're
20.
not there yet, Terry. We're not there. We're just on Lando as a comedian. We're not on the personal questions. Thank you for trying. All
Somebody's
right.
got to bring something.
So since you've been doing it, what has become your favorite venue and why? But you
Ooh.
can't say.
You can't say the improv's too easy.
Okay, fair. Okay, I think I have two favorite. Oh man. Okay, I have two venues that I really, really enjoy. The Coop in Del Rey. It's one of my
Great
favorite ones.
choice. Great choice.
I think it's just like some places just have magic in it. I don't know what it is, but like you go there enough times, you start seeing some of the. I've seen people grab knives off the wall. Just the complete insanity that you see there.
They're closing.
Yeah, they're closing. I have 2 shows left. Jeff can
They have 2 shows left, Terry. Okay.
Yeah, it sucks. So I like that one. For shows, The Villain has been fantastic. They put on some great shows there. But there's 2 right now. I know you asked for 1, but I'm giving you 4. Druella has 2 mics now that I like for 2 different reasons. So he does one at Art and Design District in West Palm Beach. That's just great because he always gets like 30, 40 people there. It feels like a Hispanic backyard party.
I love that mic so much, yes.
And the other one is Patonk. And the reason that I like Patonk, and I don't go there too often,
What?
the reason I like Patonk is because I went to Patonk, and I don't know if who's watching this, but just for context, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare place. But every now and then, there's something
Why I
happens.
like it.
You want to go back. Yeah, I saw a woman overdose on heroin at Patonk.
You were there that night. Oh my
Oh,
God.
yeah, you were there. Yeah, I forgot you were there. You got in a fight with one of the cops. Yeah, I remember that shit. That's why I love that place. Like, where else?
Oh,
She didn't die as people had Narcan, but not the cops, just FYI.
Yeah. Certain departments won't carry it, but
yeah, West Palm doesn't. So
yeah, fuck them.
And that's okay.
I've had to scream. Were you there that night, Gio, when I had to scream at the two young white girls?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a whole spiel about,
I think one of them was it, and the other one had the Narcan, and then a comic had some Narcan. So I feel like I want to carry Narcan just in case. I don't want to see nobody die in front of me, So that's interesting, Lando. Like, you had a bunch of good spaces you talked about.
Yeah, you picked a good lot there, but you're gonna have to pick one as your favorite.
Oh, what favorite? Jesus Christ.
Yep. Sorry.
Well, I think if I had to pick one favorite local place, is the Coop. Like, that place, like when I started doing stand-up again after the pandemic, it was there. It was the first spot that I hit. And I've been like hanging out with Jeff Quintana ever since. I'd take all his classes. Like, yeah, it's just a good spot. Like, I made a lot of friends there.
You're not the first one to pick that, and it's a good choice.
Yeah, it made me love stand-up again going there. Yeah, it was good.
All right. So, have you traveled to do comedy? And if so, where?
Not out of state.
Where in state?
I got done to St. Pete. I've done Naples. I've done further up north, just like in the Jupiter area, but everything is very local for the most part. Goal this year is to try to do some shows out of state. In the Tri-County area, I've been, pretty fairly lucky. I end up doing a lot of shows locally, but
Yeah.
Atlanta's right there. It's an 8-hour drive.
Exactly. I want to take the show on the road now.
Yep. Laughing Skull. Reach out to him.
Laughing Skull? All right, that down.
So,
hot Atlanta.
what has been your favorite moment as a comedian?
Oh, outside of watching a woman overdose on heroin, that'll be favorite because it gave me joy. It's just one of those stories that it's just like, that's crazy that I saw that.
No wonder people call you a serial killer. But seriously, what's been your favorite moment?
The man after my own heart.
Proudest moment. Your proudest moment.
Oof, proudest moment. I would say there's a streak of them. It's just
tell us about that streak. We got time, boo.
No, it's just hearing comics that I enjoy and respect be complimentary of a performance of mine. I mean, I'm not gonna like name like a bunch of different moments, but just that's always really encouraging when somebody who you're like, oh, that guy's really good. He's like, hey, that was a great set. You did that really well. I think a lot of comics have been doing it for a long time, understand how important that is for young comics, the new comics to hear. Those are always one of my favorite moments because they make me be like, all right, cool. I should keep doing this.
Yeah.
I agree with what he's saying because I've said this before. It's important to be complimentary to newer comics, but I think it's also important to be honest with newer comics. If they go up there and it's not good and they ask you how it is, just be like,
I agree.
Just keep working at it, man. Just keep working at it. Because that's what it is.
I think it's interesting that Lando gave us a moment that like it wasn't like this moment that was like focused on him necessarily. It's more or less focused on the respect he's getting from other comedians,
I think that's
because some people would be like, oh, I got to perform with blah 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 blah, or
I mean, those are cool too, and I really enjoy all those.
Everybody says different stuff, so that's just interesting. No one's ever said that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's valid too. Like, I've gotten some really great spots at like really good venues partly because comics have seen me perform, and they're like, hey, I really like what you did. Come on stage, but it all stems from that, like how well you do. There's a lot of really talented comics in the scene that don't get a lot of opportunities. And it really sucks. And that's the part of the business that is largely luck and like networking, which is the least fun aspect of it. But why we do it is because, we have a perspective, something to say, and we think we can make people laugh. And when other people who also want to do that recognize it, I think that's more valuable than, where you performed at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Getting compliments, genuine compliments from other comedians is the greatest. That's the greatest feeling because they're hard to impress because they're doing the same shit. But it's also, like I said, just justifying what I said, it's also important. I've always believed that if somebody does poorly and you tell them like, hey, good set, blah, 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 you're not doing them any favors.
I agree.
You're not helping them grow.
Sometimes I just want to be nice and I just want to end a conversation. So I'm like, hey man, it's like I just like want to move on. But you're right. I think ultimately that ends up doing some damage because you're like, well, are you doing this for real? Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Then I should be honest with you.
Luckily, like for me,
well, you don't have to be mean, but you don't have to be mean, but I wouldn't compliment somebody unless they earned it. So
I agree with that. Like for me, I love when a veteran will compliment me, but I don't know. I don't dole out the compliments personally. I just realized that.
No, you don't have to.
But I will if I fucking think you're good. If you crack me up or whatever, or you'll hear me, like you'll hear my laugh and you'll know that I thought you were funny, I guess, because I'm loud,
Yeah.
Lando, what's been your biggest challenges doing comedy?
The two biggest ones. One is just like time management. Like a lot of us have full-time jobs and families outside of this. And the only way to get good at comedy is just to do it all the time. So like obviously it creates like friction in your personal life. So you got to figure out like, all right, how do I navigate this? How do I allocate my time effectively? So that's always challenging. The other one is like just, it sounds simple, but like just sticking with it. Just like knowing that you're gonna have bad weeks, bad months sometimes, and it's just part of like getting better at it. And that's like you got to remind yourself because like I try to do stand up as much as I possibly can, so I'll still accommodate the rest of my life. And then I have days that I go out and I'm like, I don't feel like doing this. Like I don't want to. Fuck, this sucks. It's like I'm bored of my jokes. I'm tired of my material, but like in the back of my head, I know I just got to get through that slog, and then I'm gonna feel creative again. I'm gonna feel engaged again.
I feel like I feel that, and you know, I've been doing comedy probably about just as long as you, and I feel scared to get to like, I see a lot of veterans that have been doing it for like 10 plus years that are like, they'll be like very jaded, or they'll take, you know, like a long break, or Terry they just,
Well,
you know, they make you feel like, man, is this worth it? You know, all my time.
The guy who got me started in stand up was Will Watkins, and he was a 10-year guy.
He don't do comedy.
I remember he said that if you've been a comedian for more than a year and you haven't thought about quitting, you're doing something wrong. Like you're fucking up. You should think about quitting sometimes because it's hard. It's a hard thing to do.
It's happening.
Like Lando said, it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to go out there and just put it in your head that I don't know how tonight's going to go. I want it to go well, but who knows what's going to happen, or this or that. And you got to go out all the time and get sharp. And I mean, it sucks. The best advice I ever gave any new comic was, I said, go out and bomb on purpose. Take every joke that never worked. Take everything that you wanted to say, but you know, never got laughs, and go out there and just bomb a 5-minute mic set on purpose. Just do it on purpose.
Gary would tell me that, and I refuse to do that.
You should, because what it does is it brings like this, what do they call it? Just this presence that you're in control of it, right? And it just reminds you. I remember when I did it on purpose at the Funky Buddha. And I said, I'm just going to bomb on purpose. And I did. Oh, but when I got off stage, I felt like an ownership over it, you know?
That's an interesting theory. I mean, I can see how that could, it's like, I've had moments on stage where I'm just like, I'm going to just, this is going weird already. I'm just going to make it as weird as possible. You know, like,
exactly.
Where the set's already going, you know, like salvaging this is going to be hard.
I never bombed, so
you know what it is. It gives you agency over your act and over your stage presence. It shows you're really in control.
I've done that a lot in propaganda, where like I'll start a set and I'm like, all right, cool, I'm just gonna do my set, and then when I start seeing people just like drinking, talking over each other at the bar, I just start screaming and I go crazy. And then that ends up being fun in the end, because even though it wasn't a good set, you still feel like, all right, well, I did it. I went out my way, you know.
Have you ever done swamp grass, Lando?
Yeah, I've done swamp grass for a long time ago. I haven't gone back in like a year, but yeah,
they're doing shows there now. I feel like that's the type of energy you would do there too.
You know what the difference is? When you try and you bomb, it hurts. But when you say fuck it and bomb on purpose, you almost feel empowered.
I don't know. Can I just say this? I feel like that's a white man thing. Whenever I bomb, I'm fine. Like, I can still go on. I'm not that sad, but I feel like white dudes be in their feelings when they bomb. Like, I don't understand it. Like, just don't do those jokes no more. Or
I don't think it's a white thing.
Do them differently. Or
I think it's an ego thing. It's not a white thing. It is. You thought you were good. You thought you were ready. You thought you were prepared. I don't see black men doing it either.
You never feel insecure after bombing, Jim? I feel like that's where that stems from. I mean, I sometimes feel insecure after bombing.
I feel insecure after bombing, but I don't feel like just as insecure as I see some of these white guys out here. They'll be
sucks. It just sucks. You know?
They'll be so insecure they'll anticipate the bomb before they go, and then they like.
Well, that's different. Yeah. If you go up expecting to bomb, you're going to. You know?
Just get out your head. And then if you bomb, you bomb. Move on, do it again, do new jokes, do different jokes, do the joke different. That's what
It's
this is all
different.
about. This is a fucking puzzle that you're trying to work. And you're gonna bomb. You're going to.
Everybody's different.
So,
Everybody's different and everybody handles it different, you know?
yeah. And watch me go out here and bomb tonight. And I probably will, but you know what? I'll sleep just the same. I'm not gonna be like, you know, I'm not gonna like looking at the crowd right now. Anyway, so Lando, let's talk about you as a human being.
Yeah.
Like that, Terry?
I do. Human being.
You as a human being. And Lando, where are you from? What's your day job? You got family? Give us a little synopsis about you.
I was born and raised in Cuba. I came with my mom when I was 10 years old. We came to Mexico, so we did like the whole immigrant thing. We got a coyote, like cross the border, do the whole thing. I do a lot of material about it. All that is pretty much true. I grew up just with a single mom. I feel like I'm giving you my life story. Like, I should narrow
That's what
down.
it is. Yes, tell us.
Pretty much, yeah.
We got time today.
Okay, good. So I grew up like with a single mom. Just not a lot of money. Bounced around a lot, mostly around South Florida. I did well in school. Got a scholarship to go to school, and the idea was that I was going to become a lawyer. And I kind of started down that path, and then decided I hated it. Around the same time, I met my wife, and I started, doing improv and things like that. So I ended up jumping careers from I did a lot of like legal administrative work, paralegal work, like you. My wife's actually still a paralegal. But now, currently, because I really enjoyed writing and stand-up comedy, I was like, I'm just going to try to start directing my life in a direction that is at least adjacent to entertainment, so it didn't feel like what I was doing for work was just so separated from what I really wanted to do. So I'm a copywriter now.
I understand. You're a copywriter now?
Yeah, I do. I'm a senior content marketing specialist at a marketing company in downtown West Palm, digital resource.
That's not far off from legal, though.
Not that far off, yeah. And I tutor I mentor a lot of young marketers to like how to write copy, content, and all that stuff. So I really enjoy what I do in the daytime. Does that answer your question? That's what I do in the daytime.
You didn't tell. Are you married?
Yeah, I'm married. My wife and I have been together 7 years now. We're married for 4, just over 4 now.
She's good. Not from Thailand, right? Because
she's not from Thailand. She's from Illinois. She's a good Polish girl. Not subservient. Definitely not that. Definitely
I know Polish people. My Polish girl gonna be here soon, so they crazy. All right.
Yeah, they're crazy. Married a feminist, that's for sure. We got a dog. We got a house. Just trying to
make American dream, huh?
Beautiful. Yeah, do my best to keep it. Trying to do all this and then also stand up. Yeah.
All right. Do you have any projects you want to talk about?
Projects, like in what sense? Like,
do you have a podcast?
Anything you want to promote?
Oh, yeah. So
shows, podcasts, whatever.
Well, no, the show promotion isn't yet, Terry. If you look at the little outline, you would know that. I'm asking about projects.
I don't like work, Terry.
Do you have any movies coming out? We got all kinds of people on the BlameGirl podcast. So do you have any projects?
So my wife and I are actually co-executive directors, co-creative directors of Naked Angels 269. It's the longest running cold reading series in the country. So it's like a national company that has like chapters in New York, Chicago, LA, and South Florida. That's us. And it's a workshop for actors, writers, and artists in general. We typically have local screenwriters submit screenplays or plays, anything really, and we cast it on the spot. And the people there in the audience basically become actors briefly, and then they read through the screenplay. So it's good for actors to like work stuff out, and it's also good for the screenwriters to see their work performed. But another wrinkle to it is that because I'm a stand-up comic, and also the ethos of the program is to try new things. We typically have performers in between each act, about 10 to 15 minutes, depending what it is, like music, poetry, a lot of stand-up comedians. So yeah. So extend, for example, you, Terry, if you guys ever want to come out on Tuesday, just let me know ahead of time. We get a pretty
I
good
would love
audience.
to. I love acting. I've been in a few movies, and
Oh, let's go. Yeah.
acting's
Every
fun.
Tuesday?
Every Tuesday, you can do
How
some
did I
stand-up.
just found out about this?
Yeah,
I didn't know about it either.
Yeah, you can do some stand-up there too. Like I said, it's like we try to pre-book it because the show is an hour, and we got to make sure we get the plays and the accent. But we're pretty generous with the time, and we've got some decent turnout. Like I think lowest numbers have been 8 people, but we've got up to like 30, 35 people in there. And it's a theater.
Nice.
It's Bob Carter's in West Palm Beach, so it's like it feels like a theater space, which is
Very
great to
intimate. This sounds
Yeah,
fun.
definitely. Put me down. I'm definitely down for that. I'd love that.
We ask comics to. You don't have to, but we strongly encourage new material. Like that's what, like when I go there, like if I have to fill in some time, I'll read an essay that I wrote, or something along those lines. So,
Okay.
Okay.
But y'all are doing it tomorrow then.
yeah, we'll do it tomorrow. I got to post all the stuff after this too.
Do you already got a full slots for tomorrow?
Yeah, I got a full slot. I got to confirm one more person that I'm waiting on, but I think we're filled up for tomorrow. But next week, I think we're mostly clear. I think we got all the screenplays in one act.
Let's talk on that one, Terry. So we'll both.
Yeah, you can put me down. I'll definitely show
All right,
up.
cool. Next week, guys.
All right.
That's awesome.
That sounds great. That sounds real fun.
It's
Yeah.
10 to
It does,
15
it does.
minutes. It's 10 to 15 minutes in a theater with a captive audience. It's really hard to get a mic like that.
Yeah.
It's a good amount of time, I think. So,
Lando, are you ready to play the blame game?
yeah, I think so.
All right.
How's
So
Kate?
I've listened to your comedy, and you have
Oh,
assimilated. Who's
yeah.
to
Media and my wife, I think, have played a really strong role in that. Like, I played a lot of video games growing up. I used to watch a lot of Seinfeld when I was learning English. So, like, yeah, my King of Queens, like a lot of my perspective on America was shaped by like 90s sitcoms and
That's
like
funny.
old boomerang cartoons, like old, like.
Me too. I was a shut-in kid, so yeah, it's all 90s TV.
I grew up with a single mom, and like I said, we weren't living in great neighborhoods, so I couldn't go out a lot. So I was like, the one
Me
thing.
too.
Yeah, my mom invested a lot in like video games and like movies, just because like life was weird. It was a little traumatic, really traumatic for a little kid. So she like threw even more love at me, like overcorrected in that sense. And like, yeah, that's how I got my sense of like the country. And then obviously after I married my wife, who had a completely different childhood than I did. I mean, like I'm Hispanic. I was born in a Hispanic country. Like I was raised by a single mom. Like her life is completely the opposite of me. It was like discovering a new version of America that I didn't know existed. So.
Huh, I thought you were from Michigan.
All right. Do you have any shows you want to promote or and give out your social media as well?
Lando does stand up for Instagram, and then for my writing is landowritesometimes.com. I haven't posted anything on there for a while, but I've actually been working on a couple of essays, so I will be starting that up again soon. And I got shows coming up, but it's like I'll be posting it on social media. So if you follow me, you'll find it.
All right. Got it. Follow him at Lando Does Stand Up.
Yay.
Are you on TikTok?
No, I need to be.
I couldn't find you. I didn't think you were on there.
I'm a marketer by profession, and I'm terrible at marketing myself. Like I consider myself pretty good at my job. When it comes to me, I'm just terrible.
I looked for
Me
you.
too. Why aren't we best friends? We have all this stuff in common.
Yeah, y'all both sound like the serial killer from You, and y'all.
Yeah, no, I hate marketing myself. It just
All right.
makes me feel like.
It's weird, yeah.
Are y'all ready for Terry Wayne's words for white people for the week?
Yeah.
Yep, we're going back to the honkies, words for white people, because there's a lot of mental illness, a lot of unhealthy people out there with mental health issues, myself included. I have PTSD, and I realized, and it's been really bad for the last couple of weeks. Just all the stress of moving and starting over and doing a new life, even though I've done it like 5 or 6 times before. It's just been really stressful and really hard this time. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the people in my life. I'm grateful for my new wife and my family. But I want to talk about truth. And that's the word for this week, is truth. And how important it is for us as we get older, as we age, as we learn about ourselves, how important it is to just be able to tell the truth. And when I say that, I mean not to not lie, but to be honest with yourself and the people who care about you, around you, and tell people where you're at. Because we have an instinct, a lot of us have an instinct to hold things back, to put things behind closed doors, to keep your secrets to yourself, to keep your scars to yourself. It's not healthy. It's bad for your mind. It's bad for your spirit. And it's ultimately going to be bad for your life. So learn to be honest. Learn to just face whatever it is that you're hiding, whatever it is that you're scared of, whatever it is that might be holding you back from the life you could have. Learn to tell the truth, because people aren't going to be as judgmental as you're afraid they will be. They're not going to put you down. They're not going to judge you, at least not to your face. They might behind your back, but people will be compassionate. People will be understanding, and people will be comforting if you will just have the strength as a person to say, yes, this is me. I'm flawed. I'm wrong. I'm scarred. I'm broken in this way. And it gives you agency over your life. It gives you a sense of empowerment. It's just like bombing on purpose. You're just going out there and you're saying, I'm going to be vulnerable for once in my life. Here I am. Please don't run, And I've been surprised recently. People have surprised me recently with how caring and understanding and compassionate they can be. And it's really kind of turned me around mentally, because especially in my life, my family is filled with strong, accomplished men. You grit your teeth, you put your nose to the grindstone and you bear through it, and you be a man, you be strong. And I'm learning how absolutely full of shit that line of thinking is, and it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to be weak sometimes. It's okay to show your emotions, but being from my line of family, that just was never okay. And I'm telling you right now, it is okay. And if you're listening to this and you might be in a place, I'm telling you, it's okay. And it'll be better. Just take the leap, step off the cliff, and trust in those around you.
Oh my God.
Tell the truth.
What an amazing words for white people, Terry Wayne. I
Thank
think that's my favorite one.
I was thinking about it all day.
It's so good. I don't have
Well,
anything to add.
thank Miranda's 94-year-old grandmother with the amazing life, because she opened my eyes yesterday, man.
Yeah.
She really did.
Lando? Nothing?
Yeah, no, I think you hear that, Chris Brown? Just be honest. Say it.
Excellent callback, Lando.
Yeah,
Excellent
I think
callback.
that's great. A great point to end on. Thank you, Lando, for joining us. Thank you, Terry Wayne, for those words. And we will see y'all next week.
Next week.
Thank you for having me, guys.